Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I picked up the camera. Close to 10 months to be exact, so I figured no place better to start than just to get back into it. And we're going to do that with a project that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. Working on building my own custom set of LED taillights with sequential turn signals and all that stuff. Lighting is a huge part of any build, and it's always something that I've wanted to work on and learn things about. So we're just going to start picking away at it. All right, so normally we'd start obviously with removing the taillights from the car, but I actually have a spare set that came off of a parts car that I had a few years back. So instead of working with the ones that are on the car right now, I'm just gonna take these and use these as the base. I guess I'll probably remove everything here first. And then you also want to remove this gasket, because from a couple videos that I watched, well, I mean, it seems like common sense. You'd probably want to remove a thin, flimsy gasket before you put something into the oven and bake it to try and melt the sealant or whatever they use to put the lenses on here. Seems like common sense, okay? But I watched a video where the guy didn't do that, and he's like, oh, my gasket's shrunk. So yeah, so I'm gonna remove the gasket and then pull this stuff apart and go from there with figuring out what we bake it at to remove the lens and all that fun stuff. So now, these lights also kind of have this bit of a, I don't know, it's just like a plastic trim piece. I think that helps it tie into the trunk a little bit better, into the body lines. So we're gonna remove that too. And that should be the last piece, I think, that comes off before we try and bake this thing. Nice. So another reason why I wanted to use these lenses too is that I think the other one's actually pretty good, but this one, I don't know if you can really see it. There's kind of a few cracks and stuff already in the lens. I don't know if that's good for me baking it and trying to pull the lens off. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna break the lens potentially. I'll just try and be really gentle with it. If it, like, I don't know how brittle it is, or since it has cracks already, if that's gonna make it an issue. The other thing is these taillights have this bit of a like gasket that goes around the edge, and it's kind of just like double-sided tape or like adhesive on there. I don't know if that's like part of the actual sealer that's in there, or if this is just kind of like separate. I'll probably leave it on there to go in the oven, as I just mentioned something about pulling the gaskets off because they'll shrink. I don't know if this one will. This is like full-on rubber. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe not so common sense. Kind of looks like it's going to be a pain in the ass because there's these little plastic tabs around the outside. If I can show you that. So there's like a tab right there that, in addition to the epoxy sealer stuff that's coming through there, there's all those little tabs that got to get pressed out as it comes apart. So I'm sure it's going to be pretty fun. So let's see. Alright guys, so after watching a little bit more videos, I'm actually not going to throw these in the oven. Instead, I'm going to use my heat gun and try and just work at breaking them apart that way. These taillights are not that easy to come by, so I really don't want to break my lenses, and I just want to try and be really careful, and I don't want to mess anything else up. So we're going to try heat gun method for now. I'm going to try and just evenly heat around the outside. They're definitely not plastic welded. Like, I can see that that sealer in there, so I think it's just need to work at it slowly and get them pried apart. So we're going to do that and not use the oven. Alright, so success. Slow and steady, and gently tried to work the lens out, and got her out. I don't know, like, there's like 3 separate pieces in here or something, because this like front lens is like separate, which is weird. So I'm just kind of trying to process what I'm going to be doing here and what further I'm going to need to take apart, but the lens is separated. I tried to use like these soft trim tools and just like slowly pry like bit by bit, because one thing that I see a lot of people do when I've been watching these videos is they use like their screwdrivers and metal tools and stuff, and the whole like edge of these taillights and lenses end up getting like all marred up and have like indentations and stuff, because you're working with metal and literally messing up the edge. And I didn't want to do that. I want to try and keep it as nice as I could possibly keep it. So there's a bunch of different lenses in here though, yeah, this piece did come out. It's just held in there by some more of this sealer stuff. That's one thing I'll have to figure out, is what's the best way to get rid of all this, because obviously before I put anything back together here, like I want to clean off all of this old crap, because it's obviously like, it's like neon green. Like, it's this taillight is OEM from 1994, okay, so it's had some time in the sun heating up and cooling down and through winters and whatever else. So yeah, so there's a bunch of different like kind of trim pieces. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna reuse, what I'm not gonna reuse. That's kind of all to be determined, because I think my plan is that between a combination of 3D printing, because I actually picked up finally my own 3D printer. We'll go over that soon too. But I think between 3D printing and maybe a bit of acrylic pieces, if I need to use them, that's kind of what I'll build the inner structure out of and lay all my LEDs into and kind of design the taillights. All right, so that's like a major first step, is getting all that stuff torn apart. So having the taillight pulled apart completely, I'm just gonna do one. Like, I'm gonna do the first one, like complete start to finish of the build, because I don't really want to do 2, and if I learn something while I'm doing the first one and I've already done it on the second one, it just doesn't really make sense. So it makes more sense to just do the one completely, like work out any kinks with like design and wiring and all that stuff first with that, get that perfect, and then I can just completely start to finish do the second one. So that's kind of the route we're going to take with that. My plan is that it's going to be a combination of 3D printing or potential acrylic if I need to use acrylic to make like bezels and mounts for me to run the LEDs in and wiring and make it all nice and clean. Because the one thing that I really don't like is a lot of these installs, like, guys are just gooping on glue and like doing all this shoddy wiring and soldering and stuff behind the taillight, and yeah, it gets hidden, but that really bugs me. Like, I want to have everything inside just like clean and like done well, not worrying that like some little solder joint is gonna break loose, because I mean, driving a lowered car too, you feel all the bumps in the road. Over time that rattles and things come loose and shake, and I bet you that a lot of those taillights that you see online that people do, I'd be surprised to know how long they last, because it's just, yeah. So that's kind of my aim with that. I've already done up a few designs, and I think the one that I'm gonna aim for is the one that I've already kind of discussed with a few people and what looks best. And that's kind of like this design here, where you've got like some diffused LED strips for the brake lights along the bottom, a couple more strips kind of in the middle just to fill the space on that side beside the reverse lights, and then you got just like the bare LEDs for the reverse section and for the signals. So the signals I'm going to do sequential, so they'll obviously like they'll sweep nice from one side to the other when it signals or hazards on or whatever else, right? I think that'll just be really nice and clean. And then after I finish these taillights, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but after I finish the taillights, I do plan also to do my front signals with LED like sequential signals. So we'll get there. I'm going to split this video up so that this is part one essentially, and then we'll continue with the taillights in the next part. Just because, I don't know, I'll just put out a little bit of a shorter video here just to kind of get back into things and get back with you guys and all that fun stuff. So if you're new here, I know there's been a few new subscribers and stuff lately, so thank you for being here. If you haven't already and you're watching this video, make sure to drop a like and comment down below and subscribe to the channel so that you can catch my continued LED series. And what else? Yeah, I think that's it. I did pick up, I mentioned 3D printing. I did pick up my own 3D printer finally, so we'll go over that in the next video too, because I've been printing out some test stuff and doing a little bit more design and getting on with that, and yeah, so that's pretty cool. So we'll go over all of that and design process and whatever else in the next video. So make sure you keep an eye on the channel, and we'll see you guys soon.